A happy morning to you, viewers out there. Here with me, I have Arome Ibrahim, and with your regular host, Mayo Anito. And this morning, we'll be discussing about XR. Hi, Mr.
Hi,
Arome. Yes, so good to meet you. I guess we've not met anywhere, but there's a good way to start.
there's always a first
And
time like
starting from
this.
here, it's a good start. Okay,
Nice to be here.
so let's talk about XR.
Okay.
So, what is your basic understanding about XR?
Okay. So first off, I would introduce myself to the audience.
Please.
My name is Arome Ibrahim. I'm a Nigerian, an African, passionate about emerging technologies like virtual and augmented reality, and I'm here to share with you guys my journey and also experience.
Hmm, nice. So let's talk about XR technology.
Okay, great.
So what's your understanding
So
about
XR is like an umbrella term, right? So we have VR. So if you have used a VR headset before, that's called VR. AR is where you use your mobile phone and you have like a 3D model in your environment. And you have MR, which is a mixture of both VR and AR. So instead of calling the three at once, we
Yeah.
call them XR. So
Oh,
XR is like extended reality.
oh wow.
Yeah.
XR technology. Yeah.
Mhm.
So can you share a bit of your journey with us? Of course, with this whole XR technology, and knowing that you're an XR business analyst and an immersive technologist. So, what inspired your interest in XR technology?
I'll start with a very short story.
Okay, we
so
like stories.
Yeah, so I studied geography, and people are asking me like, why would a geographer be doing tech, right? And in 2017, I had the opportunity to be part of that then was Facebook event in Abuja, and I attended the event. It was an opportunity to try out VR for the first time. So imagine me wearing a VR headset and being in Abuja, but I'm in India, right? So being in a physical environment, but virtually in another world,
Yeah.
right? So the experience was just simply amazing. And I remember telling my partners at then that this is the tech, this is what we're going to build with. And I remember us saving like 50K as at then to buy our first VR headset, which cost like
Wow.
200K. So as at then we just finished service, right? So looking for what to do next. And since then, it has been amazing. We have worked with a couple of companies to create VR experiences here in Nigeria. And we're also trying to push for the adoption of the tech amongst youths across Africa. And that's one of the reasons why we created our nonprofit, Immersive Tech Africa.
Wow. Yeah. So let's talk about Immersive Tech Africa. Right. So I'm aware that you're the program director.
Yes, correct.
So what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced and encountered? While democratizing HR technology, XR technology per se.
I would say adoption, right?
Adoption.
It's a new tech. Unlike fintech and the rest, people are still trying to understand what it is.
Yeah.
So every day when I meet people, I try to onboard them on what the tech is, what are the possibilities, how it can be of benefit to them. And I feel during the pandemic, a lot of people were indoors,
Yeah.
and most people were looking for virtual experiences to engage in. So I feel there was a big adoption during that period. But post-COVID, most companies are now engaging their clients or their employees to come full-time into the office.
Yeah.
So virtual experiences demand has declined. But for us at Immersive Tech is how can we now train people to be able to build with the tech?
Yeah.
So we have two key initiatives, the XR Innovation Summit, which is our virtual conference, and the XR Innovation Launchpad, which is a training program where we train close to 30 youths every year. The fourth edition is happening this year in August. And the goal is to train them over 10 weeks, where they will be able to build their own experiences for VR headsets or for mobile phones.
Wow. Okay, and this, of course, I heard you speaking about XR Innovation Summit,
Yes,
and then of course there's a training.
yes.
So what actually gives people an access to this?
To the training?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's since we are a non-profit, our goal is empowerment and also education. So for us, basically, is how can we create an ecosystem of people that are building with the tech? Because we notice that big companies at the moment ship out their production and development out
Yeah.
of Africa.
Yeah.
So basically, the money is leaving the continent. So the goal basically for us is how can we now train talent that can build with the tech
Yeah.
be able to get jobs in Africa and also support themselves in the long run.
Wow. Okay. So basically, I don't know if you've answered the question, but basically the question was, how do someone like me
Oh
or
yeah.
people out there get to enroll?
So the goal basically is just have a mind of learning, right?
Okay.
It's an open and a free program for
Okay.
10 weeks. And we have also tailored it to be based during the weekends because
Okay.
most people have 9 to 5.
Yes.
And
Basically.
even though they would want to learn, they would not want to choose between their work and the training. So to be on Saturdays, 2 to 3 hours,
Okay.
and then for 10 weeks. And at the end of that 10 weeks, would have a demo day
Yeah.
where they would pitch their projects, their capstone projects,
Yeah.
and we get to select the top 3 projects.
Okay, yeah. So still speaking about the XR Innovation Summit, so which would you, I believe you've been organizing some of these events,
Yeah.
over time. And I also want to believe that you have some specific moments. So which one do you consider as the most memorable?
I think that would be the first edition of the summit.
Okay.
So I was as I then doing my master's in Futmina.
Yeah.
So imagine me being in Niger State and hosting the best of the best in the world online,
Wow.
right? Even though the infrastructure in terms of internet was a bit low then,
Yes.
right? It still happened and it was a very good event. The feedback from the audience was amazing. So I'll just say don't allow your environment or the challenges you have facing at the moment limit you from making progress.
Okay.
Right? Just start and build upon it.
Somehow. Okay. So what can you elaborate on the mission and impact of the XR Innovation Launchpad?
Sure. So the Launchpad started in 2021.
Yeah.
It was a test because we have never had a physical training event before.
Oh, okay.
So imagine on a very fateful Saturday, we're waiting for like 40 people to turn up,
Oh.
praying for them to turn up,
Yeah.
right? You know Abuja people now, you have to
Absolutely.
convince them to come
Absolutely.
out.
Something new. You have
Exactly. But it was great seeing close to 30 people coming and learning. And since then, we have been doing this for close to 3 years now. We have trained close to 200 plus people. And we have been blessed to have industry mentors in and out of Africa supporting and guiding these participants.
Okay.
We also have like success story of a lady that has gotten a job at PwC in
Wow.
Lagos
Wow.
as an XR engineer. Right? So we have a couple of talents that are doing amazing work from the program.
Okay. So of course, I believe you young, and we all young, and
Yes.
we also believe that you have some advice to give to the young ones out there who probably might want to understand how some of this thing goes. So what would be your general advice to these people, to these young ones who want to pick it up from somewhere?
Yeah. So I would say everybody has a purpose on earth, right? God made us and brought us into this space to thrive. Even though there might be challenges, economic, physical, right? Just start, right? Just keep pushing. And nobody's timeline is perfect. You get I started off from a background of geography and I'm into tech. Right? Just
Yeah.
find what you love doing, right? Keep at it. And even though you're interested in a new tech, just find someone that inspires you. I have a couple of mentors that I've not physically met. Right? But I follow them online and their work. If you see someone that inspires you, reach out and they'll be willing to support.
Okay, yeah, this goes on to your nonprofit, which is Immersive Tech Africa.
Yeah.
So, what are the hardships you must have experienced starting this, because we know it's really so difficult to get some certain things started,
Sure.
especially when it has to come up with starting a brand, especially with in this tech space.
Yeah.
There's so much competition, but then and it takes a lot of funding. So how have you been able to manage the hardships over time?
Great. I would mention two key challenges we have had over the years. The
Yeah.
first one is hardware, right?
Hardware.
In terms of the VR headsets.
Okay.
So what you put over your face. And the average headset costs close to $300 to $500. So it's a lot for people to buy because most of them cannot afford to spend that on a single device. So hardware was one of our problems. And the second one would be funding, right? So being a non-profit, we cannot really engage in profit-based activities. But we have so far been able to rely on our network. So we have an advisory board that supports us with some of our activities. They also help with donations from their network.
Yeah.
Right? Some of them also have also supported us with some VR headsets. So I would say, even though there are challenges, we have learned over the years to keep thriving, right? And we have really made some very good milestones since then.
Okay, yeah. So I believe you must have received several awards, in due time over the things that you've done, which
Yeah.
of course specifies and recognizes the efforts that you're putting into, immersive tech Africa. So how, you know, could you mention a few that you've actually?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with the one that was very close to my heart. So I was selected for the Digital Lab Africa Award, so specifically focused on XR. So me and my friend Godi from South Africa, we were selected for the XR category, right? And that was very special because we had the opportunity to be part of a program in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Though we attended virtually, but we also had the opportunity to partake in the New Images Festival in Paris, right, on site.
Yeah.
And so being in the ecosystem of innovators and amazing talent in France was amazing,
Okay.
right? I think that was one. The second one would be when I attended the AWE event in Vienna, Austria, right? It was really big for me because I had the opportunity to meet some of my mentors that I've been following online, right? And I remember seeing one and we just hugged each other like crazy, right? But it was really nice because it's more or less like a recognition of your efforts over time, right? And I feel no matter what, the universe finds a way to repay our efforts in due time.
Wow, that's brilliant. So, in your opinion, what are the most exciting developments in the XR technology today?
The tech is moving so fast. For example, you have Apple releasing the Vision Pro, even though
Yeah.
it's quite expensive, but it's amazing possibilities. You could do awesome stuff, watch Netflix in VR, you could actually have meetings in VR, right? But one unique project that I had the opportunity to be a part of was when MTN Nigeria built their own metaverse,
Oh,
right? So their goal basically was to find a way to support their customers,
Yeah.
right, in a virtual environment.
Yeah.
So you have the opportunity to engage with a virtual customer representative
Yeah.
who would address your concerns and problem anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
right? Just using your PC or your VR headset,
Okay.
right? So possibilities are endless, and we have been seeing a lot of companies adopting it at the moment.
Okay. Wow. All right. So, I believe that there are several platforms which you intend to use to, spread a message.
Yeah.
Of course, we are speaking about Augmented World Expo, also speaking about Immersive Global Summit.
Yeah.
Right. So, what are the main messages you really intend to convey through these platforms?
So anytime I attend like virtual conferences, the goal is to tell them what's happening in Africa, right? Most of them see Africa as a ground that nothing is happening, right? No innovation, no development. So when I go on the stage or I'm sharing my slides, most of them are like, wow, right? This is
Wow.
happening in Africa using XR. And most of them, their orientation about the continent changes. Right? And they see that even though we're not as advanced as they are, we are using the tech for good, right? At our
Yeah.
own pace.
Yeah.
And we're making do with it in a very amazing way.
Wow. So of course, I also believe that there's no one doing anything remarkable who do not strive by having ideologies and philosophies that guides them.
True.
So what are those ideologies that really guide you?
I would say it's more or less messages from Miles Monroe. So Miles is a very, very purposeful driven minister.
Yeah.
Even though he's no more, his messages are very important and resonates with everyone. And there's something he said. He asked the question if we know where the richest place in the world is. Do you know where the richest place in the world is?
Of course.
No, in terms of environment.
Okay, in terms of environment. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
I got it.
so he said the richest place in the world is the graveyard. Right? There are a lot of ideas, innovations that were not brought into the world because of fear. Right? Most people are feared to being judged and don't want to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
right? So my goal basically is just do it, right?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Exactly.
do it.
And there'll be somebody out there that will resonate with what you're doing
Yeah.
and will connect with you.
Okay. So the last but not the least, so what are your visions and goals for Immersive Go Tech?
So for me, it's long term,
Yeah.
right? I always tell my partners and team members that we are playing long term, right? And in the next 5 to 10 years, the tech will be very, very big, and it will be accessible as having a mobile phone, right? But before then, what can we do to support the ecosystem, right? How can we train people to build with the tech, and how can we encourage both government and private sectors to invest in it, right? So at the moment, we want to just see how we can partner with organizations that are big on innovation, entrepreneurship, and development, and in the long run have like a research center where anybody anywhere in Nigeria or Africa can walk in and explore the possibilities of immersive technologies.
That's amazing. It's been a wonderful time with you, Arome Ibrahim.
Amazing, thank
And
you.
I believe moving further, we'll definitely see what the XR has to give us in our various spaces.
Yeah,
So thank you so much for making out your time.
thank you so much.
Have a
Cheers.
great time.
You too.